Babe, I am cooking.
Who is stopping you?
You are distracting me.
This is my home. I am not moving an inch. Me and you forever.
The story they are about to tell you is not a new one. Men have been tested since the beginning of time. Tested by money, tested by power, tested by ambition, and tested by the kind of beauty that comes wrapped in danger. But every test has a witness, and this one, God Himself was watching from the very beginning. Femi Adeyemi was the kind of man you noticed the moment he walked into a room. Not because he was loud or flashy, not because he needed anyone's attention. You noticed him because he carried himself with the quiet dignity of a man who knew exactly who he was. Broad shoulders, a low voice, and a laugh that made the people around him feel safe. The kind of man other men respected and women admired from a careful distance, because something about him communicated without a single word that he belonged to someone. And he did. Her name was Chioma. He had been smitten from the very first day he laid eyes on her at a friend's party. He had pursued her with the quiet stubbornness of a man who recognizes something rare and refuses to walk away from it. 2 years of courtship and 7 years of marriage later, he was still that man. Still chose her every morning. Still made her tea while she picked out what to wear. Still argued with her, lovingly, endlessly, about small things that meant nothing and everything at once. They lived in a modest flat in Lekki and lived an ordinary life. The best kind. Femi worked at Nexus Media Solutions, a mid-sized advertising company in Lagos. He was the senior copywriter, the person the entire creative department leaned on when a pitch needed to sing, when a client needed convincing, when a campaign needed to be the kind of thing people remembered long after the meeting ended. 3 industry awards in 2 years. His manager had put him forward for promotion twice. That promotion had not yet come through. But Femi was patient. He was good at his work, and he trusted that good work eventually speaks. Then, 5 months before our story begins, something shifted at Nexus. The company brought in a new director of operations. Her name was Gloria Okonkwo. Gloria came with a reputation built in Abuja, where she had run the operations of 2 firms before this one. People said she was brilliant. People also said she was ruthless. People whispered other things too. Things that were harder to prove, but that followed her from one office to the next like a shadow that refused to stay behind. She was polished in the way of someone who had studied polish. Everything about her was deliberate. The way she dressed, the way she spoke, the way she paused before answering a question to let you feel the weight of being made to wait. She was attractive and she knew it. And she had long since learned to use that knowledge as a tool. In her mind, men fell into categories. The useful ones, the useless ones, and the ones who were both useful and available for more. The morning she was introduced to the Nexus team, the managing director, Mr. Bankole, gathered everyone in the main conference room.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for making time. I'll keep this brief because I know we all have work to return to. I want to formally introduce someone who I believe is going to take this company to a completely different level. She comes to us from Abuja, where she spent the last several years running operations for 2 of the top firms in her sector. Her results speak for themselves, and I am very pleased to have her on the Nexus team. Please welcome our new Director of Operations, Gloria Okonkwo.
Thank you, sir. I don't believe in long speeches. You will know who I am by the way I work, and I look forward to knowing each of you the same way. What I will say is, I am here to win, and I intend for all of us to win together. Welcome to Nexus, Ma. We're so glad to have you. Thank you, darling.
Welcome to the team, Ma. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Guy, what thing just happened inside? Did she just wink at you? I thought I imagined it. Imagine, Bawo, that mamacita was all over you. Guy, her hand just held onto yours. I beg. Let's talk about something else.
When she reviewed the Nexus staff files that same week and came across Femi Adeyemi's performance record, 3 awards, consistent top ratings, the name that appeared on every successful campaign, she filed him under useful immediately. By the end of her second week, after she had watched him present in a team meeting with the kind of quiet command that made the whole room lean forward, she had moved him somewhere else entirely. She was wrong about him, but she did not know that yet. It started quietly, the way most dangerous things do. 3 weeks after Gloria arrived at Nexus, she called Femi into her office for what her calendar invitation described as a performance and development review. Femi came prepared the way he always did. He had his portfolio on his tablet, his numbers memorized, notes from the last 4 campaigns, a clear sense of what he wanted to ask about the promotion he had been waiting on. He knocked, entered, and sat down across from her large glass desk. What he was not prepared for was the way she looked at him. Not the way a manager looks at an employee. The way a woman looks at a man she has already decided something about.
Femi, I've spent the past 2 weeks going through every file in this department, and yours stood out.
The team has been working hard, the Meridian Bank campaign especially. I'm proud of how that one came together.
The team. You always do that. Fold yourself into the team. I've noticed that about you. Very humble. Most men at your level would be chest beating in my office by now.
I believe the work should speak, Ma.
And that is exactly my point. Femi, you have been in this company for 3 years doing excellent work while people with half-year talent have been collecting promotions. That is something I intend to change. But I want you to understand. Advancement at a company like this is not only about what you produce, it is also about relationships. The kind that open doors that hard work alone cannot.
I appreciate that, Ma. I'll keep putting in the work and I trust the right opportunities will come.
I hope you'll think about what I said. About relationships. Rub my back and I rub yours. My door is always open, Femi. For whatever you need.
Thank you, Ma. I'll keep that in mind.
He left her office and stood in the corridor for a moment, letting the air clear around him. He told himself he had misread it. He was a reasonable man. Reasonable men did not go home and tell their wives that their new boss had looked at them a certain way. He would handle it professionally if anything more was said. He would be clear, he would be polite, and he would be firm. He went home that evening, hugged Chioma from behind while she was at the stove making egusi soup, and said nothing about it. But then, the messages started. They arrived on his work phone, which he kept on the bedside table. The first one came on a Sunday evening at 9 o'clock, just as Femi and Chioma were watching something on television. He saw Gloria's name and felt his stomach tighten before he even opened it. I was thinking about your pitch idea for the Sterling account. You have a very particular way of seeing things, Femi. I find it quite compelling. Professional enough on the surface. But it was 9 o'clock on a Sunday. 2 days later, you were outstanding in today's all-staff meeting. I keep thinking about the way you presented. You have no idea how much I noticed. A week after that, I keep wondering what kind of man you are outside of these walls. Something tells me you are the kind worth knowing properly. And then, the one that removed all doubt. A man like you shouldn't have to wait for what he deserves. I can make things very easy for you, Femi. Easier than you can imagine. Think about it. He screenshotted every single one. He archived them in a folder he labeled simply with the date. He never replied, beyond formal, one-line professional responses. Thank you, ma. Or, noted, ma. The kind of replies that acknowledged receipt without giving a single centimeter of territory. But he did not delete them. A man who has read enough of life learns to hold on to evidence. The trouble was that his phone did not always know to be discreet.
It was an ordinary Thursday evening. Chioma had come home before Femi that day and was sitting on the sofa going through some documents from her own office when she heard his work phone buzz on the kitchen counter where he had left it charging. She was not going to look. She had absolutely no intention of looking. She was a woman who respected her husband's privacy because she had never had a reason not to. But then, the phone buzzed again. And again. And the screen lit up with a preview she could read from where she was sitting. A message from someone called Gloria, which said, "I dreamed about you last night. I keep wondering if you dream about me too." Chioma put down her documents. She picked up the phone. She read that message. Then she scrolled up. And up. And up. For 15 minutes, she sat in absolute silence, reading every exchange on that thread. Her hand did not shake. Her face did not change. But something inside her went very, very quiet. In the way that a house goes quiet before a storm tears through it. She put the phone back on the counter, exactly as she had found it. She sat back down on the sofa. She was still sitting there, in the same position, in the exact same silence, when Femi walked through the door. He knew something was wrong immediately. In the way that a man who truly knows his wife knows. The set of her shoulders. The particular quality of her stillness. The way she did not look up when he came in. Which was wrong, because she always looked up.
Honey,
Who is Gloria?
she is my new director, the one I told you came in last month.
I read the messages, Femi.
Come on, honey.
All of them from the beginning. She told you she dreamed about you. She told you she could make your life easy. She asked you what kind of man you are outside the office. And you kept all of this from me.
I was handling it. I didn't want to bring it home, worry you over something I thought I could manage quietly.
Thought you could manage it. Femi, a woman is sending my husband messages in the middle of the night about dreams, and you decided to manage it. Without even informing me. In our own home.
Go through my messages, Chioma. Check every single reply I sent her and point out one, just one that made her think there was anything more. I have never entertained her, not for a second. I was trying not to create problems at work before I had a plan. She is my boss, and I have to protect us.
You protect us by telling me. We are supposed to be each other's safe place, Femi. That is the whole point. When something is happening to you, I am supposed to know, not find out by accident at night.
You're right. I should have told you. I'm sorry.
If there is anything between you and that woman,
There is nothing. There has never been anything. On everything I hold sacred, Chioma, there is nothing.
I believe you. But Femi, don't protect me from things that are happening inside our marriage. I am your wife. I can handle it. Handle it with me.
The agreement they reached was simple. Femi would document everything. Every message, every interaction, every moment that crossed a line. He would copy HR on any email exchanges where he could do so naturally. He would keep a record, and he would tell Chioma,
all of it. He kept his word, but Gloria did not slow down. If anything, the refusal had sharpened her interest. She began engineering situations, calling Femi in for evening meetings when the floor was empty, assigning him to client dinners where she would arrange for the rest of the team to cancel at the last minute, leaving him as the sole representative at out-of-town pitches that required overnight stays. Each time, Femi found a way around it. He brought a colleague. He rerouted the trip. He submitted a formal email noting the change and copying 3 people. He was patient, professional, and immovable. This infuriated Gloria in a way she had not been prepared for. She had expected resistance. She had not expected a man who was genuinely, completely, uninterestedly faithful. She had not expected a man who was not flattered, not tempted, not curious even. She had not expected a man who went home every evening to a woman he actually loved and felt in that love entirely complete. It offended something deep in her. And so, she made a decision. If she could not have what she wanted, she would at least take back what she could control. The rainy Tuesday arrived 3 weeks later. She had sent an email at 4 in the afternoon saying she needed him for an urgent operational matter regarding the Sterling account. He arrived at her office at 6. The cleaners were finishing up. The last of the creative team had gone home. The elevator opened and closed once more, and then the floor was theirs. Gloria had stood at her window watching for all of this to happen. When Femi entered, she locked the door behind him. He noticed. He said nothing. He opened his tablet.
I pulled together the Sterling notes. The client concerned about the rebrand timeline. I think we can address it by...
Femi, stop. There is no Sterling concern. I needed to talk to you without the noise of this office.
All right.
I have been trying to be patient with you. I have been professional, I have been careful, and I know that you understand what I am saying to you. I am not a woman who asks twice, Femi. I have offered you things that men in this company have begged me for: advancement, security. All I am asking is that you stop pretending we are only colleagues.
Ma, I want to be very clear with you, and I want to be respectful while I am being clear. I am a married man. Happily, completely, deliberately married. What you have been describing for the past 2 months is something that I will not do, not for a promotion, not for any title you can offer me, not for any version of security that requires me to dishonor my wife and my God. I would rather leave this company than compromise who I am.
You would rather leave this company?
If that is what my integrity requires, then yes.
Be careful what you ask for, Femi.
Good night, Ma.
He sat in his car in the car park for 7 minutes before he started the engine. Not because he was shaking. He had expected that conversation for weeks. But because he needed to be still for a moment. He needed to let the clarity settle. He had done the right thing. He had said no clearly, respectfully, and without apology. Whatever came next, he had done the right thing. He drove home and told Chioma everything before he had even taken off his shoes. She listened at the kitchen table with her hands flat on the surface. She did not interrupt. She did not ask him to repeat himself. When he finished, she was quiet for what felt like a full minute.
I believe you, and I'm proud of you.
I kept thinking, handle it quietly, don't make it bigger than it needs to be.
You did the right thing. But that woman is going to retaliate. Women like that always do. They don't take no well, Femi. Especially not from someone they have already decided they want.
I have everything documented. Every message,
Documentation is good. But I'm not going to sit here in this flat and wait for whatever she's planning to do next.
Chioma.
I'm not going to do anything reckless. But I am going to do something.
What does that mean?
It means what I said.
3 days later, Chioma Adeyemi took a half day from her own office and drove to Nexus Media Solutions. She had been there twice before, both times to pick up Femi for lunch. She knew where reception was. She knew what the lobby looked like. She walked in at 11:30 on a Wednesday morning in a blue wrap dress and low heels, looking like exactly what she was. A woman who had made a decision and could not be talked out of it. The young receptionist looked up from her desk and immediately registered that this woman had not come to drop off a package.
Good morning, Ma. Welcome to Nexus Media. How can I help you? Good morning. I'm here to see my husband, Femi Adeyemi. I was just passing and thought I'd surprise him for lunch. Of course, Ma. Let me just call up Woods. Actually, don't worry about calling him. I know where the floor is. I've been here before. I'll find him. Come in. Just drop it there. Excuse me, who are you and how did you get in here? You're quite excused. You're Gloria, aren't you? I am. And you are? Chioma Adeyemi. So you've been the one messaging my husband. Is that what he told you? That I was messaging him? Mrs. Adeyemi, men like your husband, they don't get chased in this industry. They beg women like me. They pursue, they find every reason to knock on my door. Especially if they have unappealing wives like you.
Men beg you. And yet, with all that begging, you are still single, Gloria. With all those men lining up at your door, you went home alone last night. And the night before. And the night before that.
My husband didn't beg you. He ignored you. And that is what brought you to this. Chasing a married man through his work phone at midnight.
You need to be very careful. No, Gloria. You need to be very careful. Because we both know what you are. The messages are saved. But even without the messages, your reputation does the talking for you. Sleeping with politicians, being passed around boardrooms like a party favor, everybody's gist, nobody's wife. You walk into this office in your designer outfits and your title on the door, but the whole of Lagos and Abuja knows what you are underneath it. A common hookup girl in fancy wares. Now, every message you sent my husband is saved. Every date, every time, every word. If anything at all happens to his position in this company, those messages go to your CEO, your HR, and every industry contact I can find. I'm a very patient woman, Gloria, but patient women have limits. Are you threatening me in my own office? It's a statement of fact. Then you've made a mistake. Enjoy the rest of your day. Chioma! I will make you pay for that insult.
Gloria was livid. Everything she had prepared to say, every sharp word, every dismissal, every piece of authority she had reached for had been taken apart piece by piece by a woman who had not once raised her voice. She sat down slowly in her chair. The bedroom was quiet. The bedside lamp cast a warm, low glow across the room. Chioma had just finished telling him everything, every detail, from the moment she walked past Doris at reception to the moment the office door closed behind her. The last word had landed in the room about 10 seconds ago. Femi had not spoken since. He was staring straight ahead at the wall across from the bed, jaw slightly tight, processing. He turned to look at her.
So let me understand what you just told me. You took a half day, drove to my office, walked past reception, took the elevator to her floor, knocked on her door, and said all of that to her face.
Every word.
Chioma,
Don't tell me I shouldn't have.
I wasn't going to say that.
Then what were you going to say?
I was going to say thank you for standing up for us, for standing up for me. You're proud of yourself.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Chioma.
I said what I said. and I will say it again if I have to.
Gloria had been embarrassed. In her own office, she was sure a staff member had heard and that gossip was spread. To someone like Gloria, that was worse than a slap. That was a statement. And statements from other women were the one category of things she refused to absorb quietly. She spent 3 days in controlled fury. And then she made her move. Femi was called into her office on a Monday morning and told that due to budget restructuring and a departmental reorganization, his contract was being terminated, effective 4 weeks from that date. She watched his face as she said it. She was looking for the moment when he would break, when he would lean forward and lower his voice and ask her what it would take. She had seen it many times before. Men who said no once, sometimes twice, always came around when the stakes were high enough. Femi Adeyemi did not come around.
Budget restructuring?
The company has had to make some difficult decisions.
My last 2 projects brought in combined client billings of 58 million naira. My performance reviews for the past 3 years have been consistently rated outstanding. I have had 0 performance improvement notes in my file. I also have documentation of every communication between us for the past 4 months. Date, times, content. The pattern is very clear.
Are you threatening me, Femi, just like your little wife?
I am informing you, there is an important difference. If you proceed with this termination, I will be filing a formal complaint with HR and requesting a meeting with the CEO. I will be presenting every piece of documentation I have. I am not doing this out of anger. I am doing it because it is the right and legal thing to do. However, and I want you to hear this clearly, I also believe that God is in control of my life.
So proceed however you need to proceed.
You live in your little bubble of God and love. You can report me to whoever you like. But know this, women like me always rise. No matter where you go, you won't succeed unless you play along. It's me today, it will be someone else tomorrow. Clear your desk by Friday.
I'll have HR notified by the end of the day.
He filed the complaint that afternoon. He submitted every screenshot, every archived message, every forwarded email. He was professional, thorough, and completely without drama. The HR manager read through the documentation with an expression that told him she was not entirely surprised, which told him this was not the first complaint in Gloria's file. Nothing happened immediately. These things rarely do. But seeds had been planted. He cleared his desk on Friday. He carried the box out through the lobby and walked out of the Nexus Media Solutions building into the afternoon sun. He put his box in the boot of his car. He sat in the driver's seat. He called Chioma.
Hey, honey. I've just left the building.
How do you feel?
Like something just ended. And something else is about to start.
Good, because I need you to call someone when you get home.
Who?
You remember Yewande, my friend from university? She was just made managing director of a creative firm on the island.
Chioma, I just walked out of a job 20 minutes ago.
I know. I called her 3 days ago. She has been looking for a senior creative lead for almost 3 months, and I told her about you. She has been waiting for your call.
3 days ago? You called her 3 days ago.
I knew that woman was going to do something stupid, so I prepared.
God is not sleeping. He never was.
Now drive home safely and call Yewande.
See you later, babe.
Bye, Femi. Safe drive.
He called Yewande that evening from the living room while Chioma made dinner in the kitchen. The conversation lasted 40 minutes. By the end of it, he knew the salary, significantly higher than anything Nexus had ever paid him, the scope of the role, the team size, and the company's 5-year vision. Yewande was direct, as she always had been. She told him she had interviewed 6 people for the position, and not one of them was him. She needed his answer by the following morning. Femi told her he would sleep on it. He thought about it for exactly 20 minutes. Then he put down his phone, walked into the kitchen, tapped Chioma on the shoulder,
And when she turned around from the stove, he told her he was calling Yewande back. Chioma smiled and said she already knew. He called Yewande back that same evening and said yes. Femi joined Zenith Creative Group 6 weeks later. The office was smaller than Nexus, but the energy was different, sharper, more intentional, the kind of place where people were excited about the work rather than just the title. He hit the ground running. In his second week, he started working on a major client pitch. He brought in angles the team had not considered, shifted the whole direction of the campaign, and defended every choice when he needed to. He was collaborative, generous with credit, and completely focused. The pitch landed. The client signed. Yewande cried briefly in her office, composed herself, and ordered champagne for the whole team. Femi's new salary was 42% higher than anything Nexus had ever paid him. He sent Chioma a voice note on the way back from the celebration dinner, 90 seconds long. She listened to it twice and smiled the whole way through. Meanwhile, back at Nexus, things were coming apart. Gloria had hired a replacement for Femi, a man named Seyum, selected primarily because he was agreeable and asked very few questions. She had not verified his qualifications properly. She had not run a competency assessment. She had signed his contract because he was pliable. Seyun was pleasant. Seyun arrived on time. Seyun could not do the job. The cracks appeared quickly. Thin presentations, weak concepts, client feedback that came back sharper than it should. Gloria covered for him, reassigned things quietly, told herself he needed time. He did not improve. Then the Hatfield account came up. Nexus's biggest international client, a contract worth 220 million naira up for renewal. Gloria assigned Seyun as lead. Mrs. Fashola raised a flag internally. Gloria overrode it. Seyun walked into that meeting with a presentation that had the right fonts and the wrong substance. He fumbled the numbers. He could not answer basic technical questions. When the lead client executive asked him to walk through the first-year implementation timeline, Seyun looked at his slides and said he would need to get back to them. The Hatfield Group called their lawyer before they reached their hotel. The contract was terminated within 10 days. Mr. Bankole called Gloria in on a Monday morning. She walked into his office knowing what it was about. She had spent the weekend preparing her explanations, ordering them, finding angles. She sat down and waited. Mr. Bankole did not look up from the folder in front of him for a full 30 seconds after she sat. When he did, his expression was the one she had heard about but never seen. Utterly flat, completely focused, and very, very patient in the way of a man who has already made his decision and is now simply completing the formality.
The Hatfield Group has terminated our contract. 220 million naira, 4 years of relationship building. Gone. Lead on their presentation was Son Martins. Who hired Son Martins?
Sir, I reviewed his qualifications and felt he was the right fit for me.
His references came back unverifiable when my assistant checked last week. 3 of the 4 companies listed on his CV say they have no record of his employment. Who approved his contract without a completed background check?
Sir, the hiring process.
Gloria, I'm also looking at an HR complaint filed 4 months ago, a very detailed one, accompanied by a considerable amount of documentation. And I'm looking at the departure of Femi Ademi, who was, by any reasonable measure, one of the best creative minds this company had, who is now, I understand, at Zenith Creative.
Well, yes, Bankola can explain.
I've been patient.
I've allowed processes to move at their own speed because I believe in due process. But 220 million naira is a number that ends my patience.
Sir, I understand your concern, but I want to be clear that the Shun situation was a hiring risk that...
You hired him. You signed his contract. You overrode a flag from HR on the Hartfield assignment. And before all of that, a member of staff filed a formal complaint against you that this company did not act on quickly enough. That is also on us. But the person primarily named in it is you. Effective end of this week, Gloria. We are parting ways. HR will handle your exit process. You may collect your personal items by Thursday. Security will assist.
I built results for this company.
You did. And you also did other things. A person is the sum of all of it, Gloria, not only the parts they choose to show.
She drove home that Monday evening, in a silence that had no flaw to it. 15 years in her field, firm after firm, and it had ended like this. She let herself into her apartment, dropped her bag by the door, and went straight for the wine rack. She poured a glass, kicked off her heels, and sat on her sofa in the dim light. She thought about everything. Nexus, Femi, the HR complaint, Seun, the Hatfield account, the look on Mr. Bankole's face. She refilled her glass. For a while, she just sat there, letting the weight of it settle around her. Then, something shifted. She sat up straighter, rolled her neck, looked around her apartment. The good furniture, the art on the walls, the life she had built entirely by herself. Well, she thought, that is life. She reached for her phone. She scrolled to a name she had not called in 4 months. It rang twice.
Aha, Madame Glow. Today you remember me?
Alhaji baby, how you day now?
Adeo. This government work, it is finishing me. But see you calling me after how many months?
What can I do for you today, madam?
As you know, Pharaoh, person if it call you just to check on you.
Glow, baby, I know you well. Talk to me. Are you in Abuja?
No, I'm in Lagos. I'm just going through something at the moment.
What happened?
I lost my job.
What? How? What happened to that Nexus place?
It's a long story. You know how these things go?
All right, so what would you like me to do, Glow? Tell me.
Alhaji, I need something, a good placement, something solid. You have connections everywhere. Help me secure something worthwhile. Oil and gas, a multinational, I don't mind. I just need to get back on my feet.
Oil and gas, you say?
I just need my lifestyle back, Alhaji. You know me.
All right, don't worry yourself. I have a friend in a multinational, a very big company.
Oh, Alhaji, that would be wonderful.
I will call him this week and see where we can place you. Your CV is still in good shape?
Always.
Good. I will make some calls. But Glow,
Yes?
when I come to Lagos next week, I will need to see you first. You understand?
No problem, Alhaji.
Alhaji, darling.
That's my Madame Glow. We will sort you out.
I know you will.
Life continues, she thought. It always did. As she said, women like her always rise. After all, this is Nigeria. Across town, in a flat in Lekki, the evening was quieter and warmer. Femi and Chioma were on the sofa together. She was tucked under a blanket with her legs across his lap, the television playing something neither of them was fully watching. The lamp was on low. The kind of evening that asks nothing from you and gives everything back. His phone buzzed on the cushion beside him. He picked it up, read it, and a slow smile spread across his face.
Baby, we made the industry newsletter. My name is in it.
Yewanda already sent it to me this afternoon.
This afternoon, and you said nothing.
I was waiting to see your face when you found out.
Baby, thank you for everything. I would not be here without you. None of this, not the job, not the peace, none of it without you.
Hey, it is because of your loyalty, your respect for me. That is why we are still here, still standing, still together, still good. You had every opportunity to choose differently, and you never did, not once.
I would never leave you, Femi. Never.
And my loyalty and my respect for you, that will never change. You have my word, today, tomorrow, every day after that.
I love you, Femi.
I love you too, Chioma.
Kiss me. I'm not going anywhere.
Me neither.
Outside, Lagos carried on, loud and alive and full of its 1,000 stories. But inside this flat, in the warm lamplight, on an ordinary evening that felt like everything, these two people had everything they needed. Because here is what is true about life. A man who knows who he is cannot be bought. He cannot be flattered into betraying himself or threatened into becoming someone he is not. The world will offer him shortcuts dressed as opportunity and compromise dressed as wisdom. And he will say no. Not because he is rigid, but because he has looked at the thing he is protecting and decided it is worth more than anything being offered in exchange. And when they try to punish him for that, they find out he was a seed all along. And what grows from a seed planted in good soil cannot be stopped.